All right, Jackie, you're on.
All right. I want to send around first paper to get attendance for this meeting. If I can.
I'm 28.
I'll get it. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start fresh, I think. From last semester, we have a few issues that we need to discuss. Let's see, the first one we had mentioned, or people had mentioned at the end of last semester about electing new officers. Hi, Dick. We just started. So if we want to do that, we need to discuss that a little bit. I'm not really sure how to go about addressing that.
Now open for discussion of electing new officers.
All right, so anybody want to begin with that? Are we agreeing with that? Do we want to keep our officers?
I don't even, I came into it sort of at the end of last semester. I don't know who's an officer what, or even what officer positions there even are, except I want to be involved.
Okay. So first of all, we have our president, who is James Wine, and he's not here at the moment. I'm the vice president, and we have Jake over here as the secretary, and Chris Wilkinson is our treasurer, and she couldn't be here either. So that's as it stands. And we can keep everything as is, or we can choose to elect new officers. It's really up to the club. We don't have to make this decision today, but if we're going to do this, we need to do it soon, hopefully the next week or two. So, anybody opinions on that?
So if you're going to elect new officers, you should probably talk about it at the next official meeting again, to talk pros and cons about that, have people finish their opinions, and then the following meeting you can vote.
Do we need to make them?
Why is there a need to do that?
Because they're not here. This is a brand new club, so it was kind of hastily put together last semester just so we could get the ball rolling, get it off the ground. And it's been expressed that some of the officers aren't, they're not fulfilling their positions as desired by club members. And just throw it out there. If people want to do it, we can even have training sessions. We can do whatever we want to do. So
I think that not student senate, but broader state regulations stipulate that you have to have at least one annual officer election.
Right.
Every club has to have democratically elected officers within a certain period. It doesn't always have to be the beginning of the year, but there should be an annual election process. If the club wants to keep going year after year after year, it has to be every year anyways.
yeah. So ours officially, if we are going to go by that, we don't have to have an election again until next fall. Totally up to us. It's our option as a club.
But if they're not showing up, they've kind of ousted themselves. It's not like we're booting them.
Right.
By their own actions, they're saying they're not
Then that's
participating.
pretty much when advisors might want to talk to them to see if they wish to pursue this, and if they're not, then it gets brought up to the thing we need to fill this position.
So that sounds like it might be the next step then, right? I'm sorry, you guys.
No, that's I mean, a lot of them might not be here because of timing conflicts with classes and everything, so I think we need to take that into consideration. I don't know how the elected officers want to pursue that, if they want to talk to them on their own individual, or just bring it up at the next meeting, but they might not be at the next meeting. So we probably need to figure out a way how we're going to figure that out, if they still want to do it, or if they want to relinquish and do a new vote.
Is there something to add to this?
Oh, that's
Laura?
No, that was a good one.
I like what this lady said about, well, then someone should talk to them and see if they're interested in continuing.
Yeah, and that would be the people who are above that person, whether it's the president that needs to say, secretary, you're not doing your job. Just use an illustration. It was something that has happened some years back in the early 90s. An actual situation, and secretary has said she was unable to pursue it, and the president seeked out a brand new member to become secretary. Yeah, I was running out of member that became secretary. I said, sure, I have no idea what it was.
I think we also just need to consider that everything changes semester to semester, so we'll have to be scheduled under different days than it was last semester. And yeah, I'd like to be an officer, so I'm in favor of doing an election, because I think I have a lot to contribute, which I did anyway, but so every semester, I don't think we need to start new, but we do, we have to refocus every semester, it's just the way it works.
And you have a point, because so far, the officers that are standing leave don't have a day that we call as it.
Maybe.
Are there nights or something, and do we have to meet at the campus? Then everybody lives like everywhere.
We do have to
I
meet
can
on.
answer that.
Okay,
Official meetings with an agenda have to be on campus.
okay.
You can meet and discuss club-related activities anywhere at any time.
So if you were chairman.
You cannot do official executive actions outside of a officially with an agenda club meeting on campus.
Okay.
I was, what I kind of felt was delegating work has been an issue because I never fully understood my roles or what I needed to do. And I would ask some of the officers if I would need to do this or what do you want me to do, and a lot of people didn't really have a clue.
Right.
And I didn't understand the hierarchy.
Yeah, and that's the other option that I bring up, maybe training officers would be a good idea, or coming up with some sort of structure, whether or not we do elections for those officers, so that we can continually make that progression year to year to
Perhaps we can pick a time for next semester for people that don't take up a class at that point.
That's a possibility too. Anything else to add to this? Go ahead, Keith.
I had a sort of broad reflection on the election topic. It points at two other problems, and I think that people are talking about this one problem, and we're trying to solve it with an election. It's like not everyone's here right now, but I've been in a lot of clubs for a lot of semesters, and that's always a problem, is to get everyone, especially everyone that really needs to be there to make decisions, to be in one room at one time. And so the two issues that I see that relate to this, and maybe we don't need to necessarily focus just on elections to fix this issue, but trying to figure out a way for most of the people in the group to meet, and the people that really need to meet for the official whole group kind of discussions, the executive officers and whatnot. Finding a time for those people and most people to meet is always challenging, but it has to really be done in advance, like you said, for it to be successful at all. And sometimes people can't make their commitments, they just need that class and they just can't be flexible. And so you often end up in pickles like this where a really important officer is not able to be here, And so sometimes replacing that officer is the right decision. But there's also an idea that Laura and I were talking about, which is sort of compartmentalizing and breaking down meetings into just the people that need to want to be at whatever that meeting is going to be about. So like right now we're talking about running a club, but a lot of people don't want to talk about running a club, they just want to come and do something. So like these kind of meetings are where you need all the executives and people that are really invested in the organization to be able to come, or to participate in some other way if they can't physically be here. But then you can also have subgroups meeting where it's just the people that are available and interested in the same kind of thing, that have a block of free time that they all have in common, and so maybe compartmentalizing is one solution, maybe planning ahead and scheduling is one solution, and maybe if all else fails, you can elect 4 people that won't have any other conflicts, But I think there's these other issues that are all tying together, and there's different ways to fix the problem of we can't all ever be in one place at one time, So we just have to figure out a way to do the best we can. That's my thought.
Congresswoman,
Committee chair.
Yes, you have committees, you have councils, and you have usually committee heads that will meet with the council. And so I noticed a big problem here that everyone wants to go out and do stuff, nobody wants to learn and play the game during the meetings, and I totally agree. I hate meetings as well. So on the election topic, that is one way to approach it, and the switching up like having committees for different projects is another way. Call for volunteers for certain projects and have a head of that committee that comes to these electoral body meetings.
And then those subcommittees wouldn't necessarily have to be those agenda official meetings, because those are those
Only if they've had a report.
You can have a report. You could say,
Online.
parade committee report, film festival report, picnic report. And so only one person has to show up to that meeting with that option.
I also feel that doing that will be a lot more productive. I think that we can get a lot more done instead of just sitting around and talking about stuff getting done, and I think that that's really what this is about,
Okay, so on that note, I make a motion to table this until the next meeting, and we will add this to all of our notes, our secretarial minutes and stuff, and get all of this information out to everyone who couldn't be here today, so that it can be discussed further and we can make that decision as a group.
I second your motion, Jackie.
Thank you.
I haven't heard of your group yet.
You are here. Second, on our new business is our activities that we are going to do for this semester need to be scheduled. Did you vote on that?
Yeah.
All in favor? Okay.
Any opposed?
I
Yeah,
thought you just needed 2 motions, but okay.
I try to remember all the tools.
I know, it's been a while for me.
Play by the rules.
So our second topic is that activities need to be scheduled with Student Senate. So all of the things that we have been planning, that we plan to do, all of that paperwork needs to be done. And we had a lot of fiascos associated with that last time. So what I would like to do personally is that we come up with dates of some of these larger events that we've been discussing. The picnic, if we're going to do the film festival, sorts of things like that, where we're taking the group off campus, anything like that. Or I guess whatever fundraisers we do that are going to be associated with Student Senate need to be on their books, and we need to get that paperwork done. So I would like for us to, as soon as we can, people who know they have a project that they're working on that they want the club involved in, let's get that stuff on the calendar, let's get it to Student Senate, and taken care of. All paperwork done. So, anybody?
Go ahead, Suzanne.
Who is your first?
All right, so we've got the film festival. Both Chris and I have films ready to go, lined up. We just need to have a date, and we were thinking March 21st and 22nd. That's a Friday, Saturday. Whether you want to do an evening followed by a day thing, or just a Friday night, or Friday, Saturday, or just a Saturday. How many films? Is this a public event, profit, or a fundraising type event? For the film that I was going to get, the Assault on El Capitan, that's Kate Barbara's former student here. She climbed out with her boyfriend, and so it's about an hour. The film producer is willing to come here and split proceeds from T-shirts and DVDs. We'd like to get Kate here. She's working on her master's, so we need to schedule that in advance. It'd be nice to offer her some travel expenses to get from Reno, being a student. And then on one of Chris's films, I think it was, she mentioned it, like a $350 fee, but she has a possibility of bringing up a big name entertainer that was part of that film to come up and either talk about it, or I'm not sure if this person would do a performance in addition to it, or just focus on the topic. And I believe it was water, agriculture, workers' rights down in the valley. So, but we're only like 6-8 weeks away from that. So we'd like to lock that in. Lock that date in and have a working date that then we can start scheduling these different things.
Okay, well, I have that listed under old business, but if you guys want to talk about that now, shout out to
March 21st and 22nd. It's a Friday, Saturday.
a lot of people probably aren't aware.
That's kind of, there's going to be any conflict, like,
Well, and that's the thing, to find out if Dogwood Forum is open, either or both of those. So all of that kind of groundwork needs to get started.
And the parade is coming up again, and I have to start getting committees on that, Amy, if you're picnic. The biggest thing is happening, about committee chairs.
Yes, I agree. As far as the picnic is concerned, I'm pretty sure there's a date already set. I believe it is May 3rd. That's been announced.
never mind.
Can we
have
do
one thing at a time?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Thing.
try to get through that part real quick. The picnic, I have under old business, arboretum cleanup, old business, and is there anything where there are other people who are on committees and chairs? Because I know those have chair people on them. You're speaking for the film festival, right?
On Chris's behalf.
So as far as I know, nobody else is here. So are we ready? We're going to talk about the film festival then. We're going to open up to discussion on that. Does that date work for people? Are those dates? Do we want to do 1 day, 2 days?
About the film festival, I like the 2-day event. If Dogwood Forum is booked, because we do have to get that in pretty quick, Glenn, are you going to be seeing if you can book it, or would you like somebody else, Chris, to do it, or?
I was hoping it'd go through a student to be just part of the student thing, but we can.
Can students request the space, or do faculty members have to request the space?
No idea.
I think you have to be a faculty member to request
So we could get Tom.
space, or adjunct, yes.
Students and clubs should go through Laurel and Coletti. That student is still in part of the student senate.
Okay.
She'll take care of room reservations on behalf of students and clubs.
So Chris can claim the space. Okay. And if that's not available, State Street Theater is another possibility to talk to them. Space if they don't have a show that night.
Chris had mentioned something that she had started the ITSA Film Festival, and the people that she's working with know that name, so they would be involved somehow to tie it together.
Oh, right.
Could offer that, yeah.
I'll make a bigger draw.
And that, now to bring that up, it's a film festival does charge for the event. Now, we have a couple options here. We can make it a free event for people on campus, or we can open to the public. We can charge, we don't have to, we charge. That could open up more possibilities for films we could bring in, say that $350 film, plus it's fundraising for other events that we do in the semester. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys want to charge them?
Public and charge. It doesn't have to be cheap, like a large dollar and more.
Okay.
But people will come.
And you, part of the discussion, I was with Chris at Death Valley this weekend, was your Christmas tree fundraising, you have some funds
Yeah,
to put towards something to either recoup or just make a community engagement, publicity for the college, for your program.
Do you think it would be potentially successful to do a suggested donation value? Because most people will just donate what you ask. And if people still want to come, then they can, but they don't want to donate. There's only going to be maybe a handful of people that wouldn't. But I don't know if you're paying $50 for a film, you wouldn't necessarily so that might be a risk.
Is it cheaper for students? Student discount?
You could do a students for free, community members, $5 suggested donation, $10 suggested donation. I just did a show with donations only, and we made quite a bit of money. So people like to support things like this.
I guess $5, $10, you're looking at between 35 and 70 paying these for $350.
And it is over 2 days, so then we'd also have to break down whether or not we were charging for both days individually, if we have a group rate, anything like that. And that is stuff that Chris does help a lot more with, very interested in doing that with it. Any more opinions on
Do you think that if we do charge, that people aren't gonna wanna drive all the way out here necessarily they're like, oh, I don't know, I just am wondering if that's a valid idea. I mean, are people really gonna wanna drive all the way out here and pay for a covered entry fee?
Did anybody go to the film festival that was this fall?
The Wild
No.
I've been to it in Black Park and Murphy, but I haven't been to the one on the campus.
So I'm just wondering what their attendance, if anybody
But the one in
knew.
Murphy gets a big draw, it packs the theater.
So maybe it was in a more centralized location, and, if you were charging, it might be a way to actually make money is having it closer to the central hub of town.
Like a stage 3.
Where people can walk and go, oh, let's go have dinner afterwards, or let's go get a drink, or whatever, where there's that opportunity. And so it's like, okay, well, now we're going to drive down this dark, scary road for a while, and then,
So do you think that Chris, as the chair for the film festival subcommittee, should hold a meeting about the film festival whenever the people who want to be involved with the film festival are available, so that she can give a report at our next official meeting?
I think that's a very good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And we can make sure she gets all of these suggestions and ideas, and that can be discussed further at that meeting, and we can ask that a date be finalized, I think, and a location probably by before that. I don't think that's possible. Everybody in favor of tabling this until the next, or until the subcommittee meets? Anyone opposed? Okay. Okay, let's see, this is an announcement. Another topic that's been brought up that could become a subcommittee topic, we'll just bring it up quickly. Laura and I have been talking about a plant sale for this budget. Do you want to talk about it at all, or? Sure. The idea is basically to start plants, vegetables, stuff for people's gardens they can purchase, take home, plant in their gardens, and hopefully produce their own food and learn something at the same time. I was thinking that the picnic day would be a great time to get that, to do that. One, because there's going to be lots of people there for the already established annual picnic. Secondly, because of poor people generally are going to be going into the nurseries and looking for that kind of stuff. Usually that's Mother's Day weekend, everyone finds their gardens. And this year I don't think we're going to have much of an issue with weather in that sense, so getting them out a little early might help out. And I just think it would be more fun for everyone to be able to do it all at the same time. And then there's less logistics because we can incorporate it. Cool. Anybody have anything want to contribute to that, or can we also do that to subcommittee?
I was wondering if you knew of any resources we had for plants or anything we could tap into to sell, or
Right.
we
So
what I was thinking is, starting from seed, we do have a beautiful greenhouse that has lots of space and not a whole lot of things being used, in there. So it would be easy to produce, lots of seedlings basically, and just if we can keep them alive and get them to grow, then we can sell them. I have a ton of old, 6-pack containers and stuff like that. If we can package them in something like that where we can actually show people, hey, look, we're reusing these plastic things that everybody throws away when they get their flowers or whatever, and that's a good angle, to work with that. And also it doesn't cost much to do. I have in my personal inventory a ton of seeds. Jackie does too, because we trade and share. And so I have no problem donating what I've got, to that. And
The Focus Seed Exchange happens in February, and it's a lot of local heirloom and organic varietals. It happens at the Columbia Elementary School, and if the club decides to appropriate funding to the plant sale subcommittee, then it's $10 for several packs, and you can just go around and collect local seeds. So really neat.
that would be amazing. Also, we were thinking about doing house plants. We have spider plants in the greenhouse that are just shooting off babies, and I've got 5 of them in my house right now. Then I don't want any more, but I feel bad that they're not being planted. So why don't we, grow those up, and people like them, especially the variegated spider plant. People like those, and they're easy to keep alive. The only thing about that, doing something like that, is that I think that it would do a lot better if what they were in wasn't necessarily, didn't look reused. Does that make sense? Yeah, if it wasn't something that, you would put in your own house, I think that would be a lot easier to sell those houseplants. I also have a ton of houseplants at home that I can just go cut up with scissors and stick them in some dirt and they grow. So, there's a possibility of doing that. I've also made terrariums and jars, and there's a lot of different things we can do with it. It just needs to be done.
It's easy.
Apparently so.
There needs to be a membership committee that can make the phone calls or have everybody's phone numbers, everything all updated, and get her information she has to get her committee put together. But
I'm in Erin Nagel's class, and we just drew up a proposal for Gene Womble to start using the kitchen scraps for the compost pile. So he has 2 5-gallon buckets. He has the proposal. He just has to, I got Erin Nagel to sign off on it. So when he signs off on it, we'll start doing that. We have students for this semester to bring it over and turn it over, and then Tom and Michelle said we could use these ice coolers. I guess one of them might have worms in it or worm eggs. But we're going to take that over too and have a worm colony.
Cool. Where are you planning on using it?
We're leaving it here.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll attend to it on campus.
I used to make compost from Dean Womble in the kitchen. Too.
Oh, you did? Okay. I heard of you.
The thing that happens is that sometimes people forget, or people are busy because of whatever they've got going on in school that week. And so it's difficult for them because they have a full compost bucket, and they don't ever want to have a full compost bucket, because not only can they not use it, it's just sitting there and rotting and stuff. And so consistency is the biggest thing to making that a success. And you don't really have anything to lose, except, down the road you might be like, well, it's a hassle. But to really make it,
that's why
carry it on, it has to be an everyday, people are reliable, responsible. If they can't do it, maybe they know someone else in the club that's there on campus that same day, and they can call them. So have backups and alternates planned out and stuff. That's just my advice, because I used to do it, and it was hard to always find someone reliably every single day.
Yeah, we have somebody in charge of that in my group, in the class.
Okay.
And Jean only wanted it picked up once a week.
Oh, it's big.